everyone, I hope you're all doing really well. Today I am doing my April wrap up and kind of my May TBR and a little bit of a haul. I have not got all that many books to show you in terms of what I've read in April because unfortunately I only got 9 books read and 2 novellas, which is quite disappointing because I was hoping for about 20. So I kind of failed on that part, but I did have a little bit of a busy month, so I'm not going to beat myself up too much about it, and I'm just going to try and catch up in May. I can't really show you all of the books I read in April because most of them were library books or e-books, and obviously I can't really hold them up and show you because some of them are at the library and some of them are on my Kindle. But I wanted to talk about one of the books that I read this month, and it is called The Rain by Virginia Bergin, and this is a young adult kind of post-apocalyptic novel that is, well, the premise is that the rain is killing people and that the rain has got this kind of bacteria in it that kills you if it touches your skin. Even one drop can kill you, and that is the kind of tagline, just one drop will kill you. And this follows a character called Ruby, and she lives with her stepdad, her mum and her brother, and she is at a party and she's kissing a boy in a hot tub, and then suddenly it starts to rain and everyone's rushed inside and people start to die, and then she goes on this mission to kind of survive with her stepfather and her family. And it was a really interesting book, and I absolutely adored the premise. I thought it was such a fantastic idea because if the rain is poisonous, then what are you going to drink? There's nothing to drink, and it's kind of like a race against time to get to a place where you need to go before it starts to rain. But I did have a couple of kind of issues with it. I did find that there were a couple of plot holes. I don't know whether that was just me being overly analytic of the plot, and perhaps I was just reading more into it than there should have been, but some of the things that happened in the plot I was thinking, would that have really happened? Wouldn't she be dead by now? Obviously books like this rely on the protagonist staying alive for the whole entirety of the book, but there were points when I just thought that Ruby was far too lucky to still be alive, and that the way she was behaving was a little bit reckless. So it was interesting to see how the author kept her alive and kept her kind of surviving. There was also a couple of issues I found as well with Ruby as a character. She was quite self-centred and quite, not selfish in a way, but a lot of the time she was worried about where her mobile phone was and why she couldn't get on the internet, and I know those are kind of problems that a teenager faces these days, and that's quite important, but I just felt in the situation that she was in, the last thing I would be thinking about is who's got my mobile phone and why I can't connect to the internet. So I found her a little bit kind of shallow at times, but again, you know, that's just a personal opinion of the character, and you know, people might might see her in a different light. But I'm going to be doing a longer review of this, and I'm going to be reviewing it on my blog as well. So if you want a review of this, then I will be writing one up soon, and I'll film one too, so because I have a lot to say about this one. So that is The Rain by Virginia Bergin, and I think this comes out in July, yeah, the 17th of July, so there's a little bit of time to wait until that one comes out. Then this month I also read Echo Boy by Matt Haig, which I really, really loved. That was just a fantastic YA kind of dystopian sci-fi fantasy set in the future book, and that really was good. What else did I read this month? I also read Finding Cinderella, which was my first kind of adventure into Colleen Hoover's world of fiction, and I absolutely adored it. It's a free ebook, so I will leave the link below so you can go and check that out. And I also really want to read some more of her work now because I really, really enjoyed that one so much. I'm now going to show you some of the books that I've acquired this month and the ones that I'm most excited about. So recently I got a very exciting parcel from Pan Macmillan, and I absolutely adore Pan. They are such a fantastic publishing company, and they're so kind, and they send me so many amazing books, so thank you so much, Pan, for sending me some of these. They sent me this one, obviously, because this is Pan Macmillan. Well, I don't know why I said obviously, because you wouldn't know that, but this is Pan, and this is one of the ones they sent me. They also sent me the first book by Jessica Brody called Unforgotten, and they're also going to send me the next one called Unremembered, which I'm so excited about. I don't really know too much about this series, but I know that it has been raved about quite a lot, and that it's got quite a good following. I think it's a bit of a kind of sci-fi book. It's about scientists who created somebody, and I think it's kind of like on the run from scientists and things start to go wrong and everything. So I'm really looking forward to reading this, and I absolutely adore the cover as well. I just think that's so kind of beautiful and enigmatic, so I can't wait to read this one. I'm going to wait till I get the second one in the series so I can read them back to back, because I know that I'm just going to not want to put them down once I get started. And the last book, or the third book that they sent me, they also sent me some more books, but they are just waiting for them to arrive in the warehouse. But the next book they sent me is probably one of my most favourite, or if not, sorry, my most, I've got a cough now. Sorry about that. This is my favourite, no, this is one of my, if not my favourite covers of the year, and this is called Smart by Kim Slater. Now this is a children's fiction book, but it is absolutely stunning, and I have to show you the inside of this because it just is absolutely glorious. Look at that. Oh, the illustrations are just fantastic. So beautiful, and I'm actually currently reading this at the moment. I am that far through, I haven't got much to go. I'm on page 149, and I think it's only about 200 pages long. And this book is about, or I'll read you the blurb. It says, I told them everything. I told them how the homeless man's body just looked like rags in the water. I told them the police thought he was drunk and fell in. I told them that I thought he had been murdered. So this follows them, a boy who is, we know from the very beginning that he's a bit of an outcast and he's a bit of a loner and he's a bit different from everybody else. We're not quite sure why, but we know that he kind of follows his own rules and doesn't really hang out with normal cool people. He's very much a lone wolf, and he spends a lot of time down by the river, and he knows a woman called Jean by the river, and she's like a homeless person, and he also knew a man called Colin, but Colin has been found dead, or Colin was dead in the river, and the police have just ruled it as, you know, kind of just an accident, and maybe Colin was drunk and he fell in the river. But this boy is determined to prove that it was a murder and not just an accident. So he is a really gifted drawer, and he's going around drawing all of the different places and the different people that were involved, and oh, it is just fantastic, and I'm really enjoying it. And as I say, I've nearly finished it, so a review will be going up pretty soon. But I just think this is just an incredible debut, and just such a fantastic promise for a children's book as well. And I just, like I say before, I just think the cover is just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So congratulations to whoever designed this cover. It doesn't say, oh here we go, cover illustrations by Helen Crawford Wright. So well done, Helen, I'm very impressed with your artistic skills. So that is Smart by Kim Slater, and I think this comes out in June maybe, so not too long to wait for this one either. Then from Titan Books, I think a while ago I showed you this book called Thorn Lost, which is in the series of Glass Thorns by Melanie Rawn, and I did say that I didn't have the first and second book, and I asked the publishers if I needed to read them in order, and they said it would be a good idea if I did, so they sent me the first and the second book, and I can't quite work out which one is the first book and which one is the second book, but I have all three of them now. Oh, I'm not going to be able to hold them all in one go. I have all three of them now. I think this one is the third one, and I'm not very good at working. Oh, here we go. It says book one. So this is book one, called Touchstone. This is book two, called Elsewheres, and this is book three, called Thorn Lost. And I think the spines are just beautiful as well. Now, I'm not too sure what these are about, but I think it's about a man who is part elven, part fae, and part human wizard. I think his powers are now strictly constrained, but in a theatre magic lives, and I think it's kind of about a theatre and wizards and things, which sounds exciting. I haven't actually really read any wizard fiction before, or kind of like this style of fantasy fiction, so I'll be really interested in giving them a go, because as I say, I don't really know much about this genre, so I will be interested to kind of see where these books go. And I just think the covers are really lovely as well, really striking and pretty. So those are the books from Titan, so thank you so much, Titan, for sending me those books. I cannot wait to read them. And then also I won a competition on Twitter recently with Simon & Schuster, and I got sent a beautiful copy of a book called The Year of the Rat by Claire Furness. Now, I have heard quite a lot about this, and I actually was given a Kindle copy of it, and this is about. I'm not too sure what this is about, and I don't really want to read the blurb because I kind of want to go into it blind, but the quote on the back says, "I always thought you'd know somehow if something terrible was going to happen. I thought you'd sense it, like when the air goes damp and heavy before a storm, and you know you better hide yourself away somewhere safe until it blows over. But it turns out it's not like that at all." And this is a YA novel, and people have said that it's a strong contender for the best YA debut of 2014. Striking and assured, this novel will stay with me for a very long time. So I have a feeling this is going to be a pretty damn good read, and I just think, again, the cover is just so beautiful, just stunning, and I love the purple colour. I think that purple is a really big kind of good colour in the book world this year. I think yellow and purple are two kind of colours that are going to be big in book covers, so really, really, really excited about reading this one. And again, like I say, I just adore the cover. Beautiful, and I don't know what it's like underneath the jacket. Oh, it's quite nice. It hasn't got all that much, but it is just like a nice shiny spine. So they are all the books I've kind of collected over the past couple of days, but I also went to the library because I can't resist going to the library to just have a look at some of the books, and I'm always drawn to the teenage section because I just have this massive craving for YA fiction recently. So I got a couple of books. The first one I got is Across the Universe by Beth Revis. Now, I've heard a lot of people talk about this book, and it doesn't have the biggest rating on Goodreads. It's kind of like sits in like the 3.5 star count, so I'll be interested to kind of read this and form my own opinion of it. I think this is about a girl called Amy who is trapped in space and frozen in time. And I'm not quite sure exactly what happens, but I'm really looking forward to giving this a read. I think there's also a second book in this series called, I'm not quite sure, does it say here? Oh, is it called A Million Suns, I think? But this one was published quite a while ago, in 2011, I believe. Yeah, 2011. So this is quite a few years old now, so I'm going to be interested in reading it and seeing kind of what I make of it, because again, I haven't really read anything set in space. Echo Boy was slightly kind of sci-fi, spacey, a little bit like that, but I've never really read anything that's, you know, really kind of deep space, so I'll be looking forward to reading this one. I also picked up this book because I'd seen it before in the library and I'd liked the look of it, but I didn't really think about picking it up. But I saw it again and I was like, I have to read it, and it's called The Sound by Sarah Alderson. Oh, I can't, it's all shiny because of the light. And the tagline is Where Secrets Are Buried. Now, I believe this is about a girl who becomes a nanny for a family, and she hopes for a really like boring summer filled with books and blogging about bands, and kind of boys are off the agenda. But then I think she falls in, or she kind of gets involved with a bunch of party-loving private school kids who are hiding some dark secrets. She possibly falls in love with a local bad boy and could have a falling out with a dangerous serial killer. So I'm really looking forward to reading this. It's kind of like a bit of a chick-litty romantic comedy YA, but with a lot of dark undertones to it, so I'm really looking forward to giving this one a go. And I think this was published last year. I don't think it's very old at all. Yes, 2013, so not very old at all. And the next book I picked up is called Starters by Lissa Price. Now, I've heard so many things about this book, but I've never really got around to picking it up. The cover really scares me. I do not like this cover at all. So I have to kind of hide it on my nightstand so I can't see it. But this says, first Callie lost her parents, then she lost her home, and finally she lost her body, but she will stop at nothing to get it back. And I think this is kind of, again, a bit of a sci-fi book perhaps. Or they've got, it's like, yeah, it's about a body bank, and you can rent out your body to those who want to be young again, or something like that. So it sounds like an interesting kind of book. So I'm really looking forward to giving that a read. And this was published in 2012, so it's a little bit old. And I think there is a second book in this series. I think it's called Enders, perhaps. And there might be more than one sequel, but I think there's more than one now of these ones. And then I finally looked in the kind of adult section-ish of the books, and I found this book. And I'm not sure whether this is an adult book or a teen book. I always thought this was kind of like a teenage fiction book, but it was in the adult section. And this is called The Drowning of Arthur Braxton by Caroline Smiles, I think. And I've heard a lot about this. I've never really wanted to pick it up before. It wasn't something that I was kind of interested in reading. The blurb didn't speak to me very much, but so many people have spoken about it, so I think it's only right that I do give it a read. And this is about a boy who runs away from school. He hides out in an abandoned building, an old Edwardian bathhouse. He discovers a naked woman swimming in the pool. From this point on, nothing will ever be the same. So, looking forward to giving that a go and seeing what it is all about, because the cover's quite enigmatic and doesn't really give much away, so I'm looking forward to giving that one a read. And I think that is everything I have to show you this week or month. This has kind of been a bit of a strange kind of April wrap up, a bit of a haul, and kind of that's been it really. I don't really have much of an idea about what I'm going to be reading in May, because I need to sit down and sort out what books I need to read for blog tours and the books I really want to get around to reading. But I'm definitely going to be reading quite a lot of the ones I've shown you, because they're the ones that are kind of top of my list of books I'm really desperate to get around to reading. And obviously the library books I need to read as soon as possible because they have to go back. But I think that is everything I wanted to say, so thank you guys for watching, and I hope you all have a fantastic month, and I will see you again next month with my next wrap up, but I will see you again with a video probably later next week. Thanks for watching guys, I'll see you again soon, bye.